So, Season 2 of The Mandalorian is about to drop, and we're all getting excited about what is in store for Mando and Baby Yoda. I was thinking this would be an appropriate time to share my hopes and maybe my concerns about what awaits us in Season 2. Now, for the past year, I've been trying to stay away from as much of the fan-based speculation as I could. I just don't get the need to take the trailer for the Season 2 and go frame by frame to try to look for whatever clues there are to what awaits us in this season. And I think doing things like identifying some package on a speeder bike and saying, hey, that looks like it could be the right size for Boba Fett's helmet, I kind of think that only sets people up for disappointment. Still, there are some cool things that I think await us in Season 2, and, well, let's talk about them. Welcome to the dantooinefreepress, a home for lovers of science fiction, action-adventure, fantasy, and superheroes. We review movies and TV shows, offer opinions on contemporary issues, and show off our toys and collectibles. We hope you enjoy your stay, and subscribe so you can join us again in the future. So I mentioned I had concerns about the season. Let me address those first. You see, last season, Baby Yoda, or the child, well, he was a novelty. He was cute, he was adorable, he was a mystery, and people loved him. And even though at first it seemed like he was only going to be the subject of maybe one episode, it turned out the whole series is now going to revolve around Mando and Baby Yoda. And I worry about whether that novelty is going to wear off. That's one of the things that tends to happen in TV shows. Babies grow up, and as they grow up on television, well, the appeal of the show changes. Good Luck Charlie was a show like that. It started off with a baby Charlie, and then eventually she grew to be a toddler, and then there was another child added to the show, but it didn't quite create the magic that existed in the very beginning. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen for Baby Yoda. Now, there are a lot of plot intricacies that Baby Yoda could bring. Who are his parents? Since we see that he's force sensitive, is there a way to train him? Are there organizations like the old Jedi that would have identified him? Is Mando going to be able to find his parents? And, you know, Baby Yoda is 50 years old. Are we going to see Baby Yoda develop quickly? Maybe like the teenage Groot in the Avengers movies. And as he develops, are we going to see him utilize his force powers and learn how to control them? Heck, it would even be an interesting possibility if eventually Baby Yoda finds Luke Skywalker to train him to be a Jedi. That would be consistent with what we have in the movies so far. Anyway, am I concerned that the gimmick of the child is eventually going to get old? And I would add that even though I'm enjoying this series, it is a series that is built around gimmicks. One of the gimmicks that it uses is an appeal to nostalgia. Bringing the Jawas back into focus and showing us a sandcrawler, well, that was meant to appeal to nostalgia. IG-11, looking an awful lot like IG-88. Nostalgia. The Republic Guard to the prison ship, well, he wore a uniform that looked an awful lot like a rebel soldier. Nostalgia. X-Wing fighters at the end of the Prison Break episode. Hey, nostalgia. And we know that Season 2 is going to try to appeal to such nostalgia. We know that Tamara Morrison, the actor who played Jango Fett in the prequel movies and then became the basis for the clones in the Clone Wars. We know that he's been signed to appear in this season of The Mandalorian. The speculation is that he will play a revived Boba Fett, and perhaps we're going to learn how Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit. Once again, an appeal to nostalgia. Although that's one where I caution people to get too excited about. Remember, Jango Fett was the basis for the clones. So Morrison could be coming aboard to play a former clone soldier. Maybe he's playing Rex. Maybe he's playing some other clone soldier and how that clone soldier survived after the rebellion was over. There are a ton of plot lines and storylines that Morrison could be involved in, and it doesn't necessarily involve Boba Fett. It's all still nostalgia. I'm also curious to see if they're going to integrate some of the more popular characters that were developed later in the genre. Let's take Darth Maul, for instance. One of my complaints from The Phantom Menace was that Darth Maul was this really cool villain, but he had less than 20 minutes of screen time. And even then he had, what, 3 lines? Only to be killed in that final battle scene with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was half the man he used to be. He was just falling to pieces. Now you and I, who have seen the Clone Wars, we know that he was resurrected during the Clone Wars and had a very interesting story arc. Heck, he turned out to be one of the most interesting and powerful villains. That last battle scene where he used the Force against clone troopers, even without a lightsaber, that was just incredible. But to the casual Star Wars fan, well, he just showed up at the end of Solo. And well, that's even assuming that the casual Star Wars fan even saw Solo. It didn't do so well at the box office. But those who did, well, if they weren't fans of the Clone Wars, they may be left wondering, wait a minute, where did Darth Maul come from? Wasn't he cut in half? So it might be interesting if they could develop further what happened to Darth Maul, particularly after Solo. And speaking of Darth Maul, that leads us into Ahsoka. Ahsoka herself has been the subject of many rumors about Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Is Susoka going to make an appearance in this season? There is speculation that she will, and that indeed she may even be getting her own Disney Plus series. And I find Ahsoka to be a very interesting character, in that when she was first introduced, well, she wasn't very much liked. She was like this bratty teenager sidekick that often's introduced to famous comic book heroes. And I understand for the first couple of seasons she wasn't that well received. In fact, to be quite honest, the first couple of seasons of the Clone Wars, well, they weren't that good. I have videos where I explain why the first couple of seasons of the Clone Wars were really bad. But eventually that cartoon came into its own. The writing got better, the characterization got better, and the characterization of Ahsoka got better. She became a much more complex and sympathetic character. That came out in her trial with the Jedis. It also came out in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. She was, after all, involved in what is probably one of the coolest lightsaber duel scenes in the Star Wars universe. It was certainly the coolest lightsaber duel scene in the animated universe, with, of course, Darth Maul. And we learned that Ahsoka was Anakin Skywalker's last chance of being rescued from turning to the dark side. A chance that was wasted. And so it would be interesting to see if Ahsoka makes an appearance. One of the other things that concerns me is how the series brings in key guest stars, but then only uses them for small parts. Ming-Na Wen, for example. She was used as a bounty hunter who was in one episode and then murdered off. I would have loved to see her in further episodes and how she interacted with Mando. And that great Prison Break episode, well, it would be nice to see some of those people return. Although, again, some of them are dead. So as you see, I have hopes and I have concerns. We're just going to have to see where the season plays out. What I know is that I am really excited for the beginning of this next season on Disney+. My name's Bill Kovatch. I'm the creator and primary contributor to the dantooinefreepress. So I'm fighting cancer and I'm also disabled. If you feel generous enough to make a small one-time donation, you can do so through PayPal. I'll have instructions in the description below. A non-tax deductible donation will go to a special needs trust set up for my benefit that will help pay my expenses. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to our channel and give us a like. Let us know in the comments below what topics you would like to see in the future. and hit that bell button if you would like to receive notification of whenever we release a new video.